doesn't matter. We write it in this column. Then we have the sales returns, which can also be called return inwards. We write these here, we subtract this, and we arrive at the total sales figure. You can write it here or here, doesn't matter. So this is just formatting. Hardly any marks will be deducted if you mess this up, but it's better to follow one uniform rule for your own sake. So, it saves you a lot of time. Anyway, so you get your net sales here, after which you subtract. What do we subtract from this then?
The loss of return goods.
Sorry?
Sir, loss of goods sold.
Yes. So cost of goods sold. And cost of goods sold can also be called cost of sales. It depends upon the question, so it means the same thing. Now, in order to calculate the cost of goods sold, we have a few things which we do. We firstly write the opening inventory, whatever that may be. Then we add to the opening inventory the purchases. Then we subtract, in fact, and wait, let us do it in an extensive way right from the start. Instead of 2 columns, we can make 3 columns. This is all for clarity, so that there is very little confusion.
Okay.
Sales and sales return will come in this column, and the net amount, let's just write it here. Okay, so opening inventory, you will write in the second column. Then purchases in the first column, you will subtract purchase returns, or these can also be called return inwards. Oh, sorry, return outwards. Right? You arrive at a figure. Then what you do is you add your carriage inwards into this amount. Whatever you get, you write over here. Just put arrows for you. This solution is here, and that solution is there. Okay, and once this is done, then you subtract your closing inventory, subtract it here. The total cost of sales will come here. You will subtract it from the revenue above, and you will arrive at a figure for gross profit. So once this is done, then the first thing that we do, okay, so this part right here up until this point, up until from revenue until gross profit, this is basically the trading account. Okay. Okay, Zain, I think we discussed this in the last class as well.
Okay, sir. Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, opening inventory, why do we write in the second column?
Opening inventory, we write it in the second column because see, usually we will write sales in the third column. Okay.
Okay.
But because there is something that is happening to sales, this is not the final amount. This is the final amount. So we will do the working in the previous column. Okay. And then we'll write that amount in the third column. When it comes to opening inventory, we're not doing anything with the opening inventory. Why are we not writing purchases in the second column? Because we are doing something that this is not the final purchase amount. This will be the final purchase amount. All right. But this is also not the final purchase amount, as we also have to add the carriage inwards. So all the carriage inwards and the purchases return is actually affecting the purchases amount, which is why we're not writing in the second column, we're writing in the previous column. Doing all the working on the purchases amount, we write the final amount in the second column, and then we write when the working is done on these three amounts, which is the calculation of cost of sales, we write the final cost of sales in the third column. So basically the previous columns are just for workings. If you don't get confused, you can write all of this in the second column as well. But this looks good. When you do the question, the examiner is able to see properly. Because there is no any accounting logic behind this. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is just for clarity. That's it. You can make a 2-column or a 3-column. It solely depends upon you. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you will do so many questions that it will become a second nature for you. So don't worry about all of this. But the other things, the name of, what each and everything is in this format. Is there any confusion regarding any of the points which I've written here?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Now, after gross profit, what we do is we add other incomes. Now, other incomes can include a few things. First of all, it can include the gain on disposal. Remember when we were doing depreciation, we heard about the gain on disposal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that gain actually comes here, and we can also have discount received, which we write here. We can have interest income. All of this will be given to you. All right.
Okay, sir.
Whatever is given, you will write here. What else? What else? I think this is enough. Yeah. So you will add other incomes. You will write the total amount here. Once this is done, then you get to the final point, which is minus expenses. Now, these are general expenses. Some of the most often occurring expenses will include the rent expense. Write this properly. So you will have the rent expense, you will have salary or wages expense, you will have your carriage outwards expense, you will have your discount allowed expense, you will have electricity, for example, utilities expense, we will have what else we will have interest paid expense, we will have one other which what is it that I'm forgetting. Oh, yes, the depreciation expense. So depreciation can be, one expense can be for equipment, another depreciation expense can be for vehicle, for example. So all of these expenses you write in the second column. You add them up and you subtract them from your gross profit plus other incomes. The figure that you arrive at is called your profit for the year. This figure. This is what an income statement is. We will study like two other things which we do underneath this, but essentially this is what you are doing whenever you're making the income statement. You are taking your revenues. Can you see my screen? Is this visible then?
Yes,
Yeah. So you're taking your revenues, you're subtracting your cost of sales from your revenues, and you're arriving at your gross profits. Once you get your gross profits, you add your other incomes, because see, up until gross profit, you have only added one income, which is your revenue, nothing else. and you're not supposed to add anything else until your gross profit. Once you get your gross profit, you can add any other incomes which you had during the year: gain on disposal, discount received, interest income. For example, there can also be a rent income. For example, you had a building and you put it out on rent and you're receiving some sort of rent from there, so that would be rent income. Any sort of income which is other than your sales income will come underneath the gross profit. Once you've added that, then you get to your expenses: rent, salaries, and all that. Once that is done, you subtract that from the above amount to get to your profit for the year. Any confusions then? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now then, two things which are very, very important, and which obviously I will tell you right now, you will say, I understand this, but when you will be under time pressure, there is a very good chance that you will mix this up. So the first one is discount allowed and discount received. Okay. Discount allowed is an expense. We have done this before as well. Discount received is an income. Discount received will always be added in your other incomes, and discount allowed will always be subtracted from your expenses. Okay, so this is one rule of thumb. Please write it somewhere. Okay, write it underneath this format itself. So this is one
Okay.
of the most important points. And the second most important point, where the chance of mistake is even higher, it is extremely high, is when you're dealing with carriage inward and carriage outwards, because both of those are actually expenses. Now, carriage outwards, you will always write in your expense section underneath the gross profits, never in your cost of sales.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and carriage inward will always go in your cost of sales. Can you give me the reason for that, Sam? Do you have any idea why don't we write both of those in expenses? Why are we writing both carriage inward and cost of sales?
So the carriage inward is the cost. When you sell a product, you deliver that product, so it's the cost of delivering that product.
Yeah. Okay. So that is carriage outwards. Whenever we are delivering the product and we are paying the delivering cost, whenever we're delivering the product to our customers, right? So that is carriage outwards, and that is the main reason why we write it in expenses. However, when we are purchasing the product and they tell, okay, we cannot pay for delivery, you will have to get the stuff on your own, then we will have to pay for delivery. In that case, that would be carriage inwards. Now, remember that capital expenditure and revenue expenditure chapter? We read that until the non-current asset is arrived at the factory, is in working condition. Actually, every expense that is incurred will come under the cost of that asset. For example, if you're buying a new machinery for your factory, you're delivering for £10,000. You're delivering that machinery, which costs you another £500. Then there is a fixing charges for that machinery in your factory, which is another £500. So you will debit a total of £11,000 in your asset account, because every cost will be added to the cost of that machinery. Same is the logic in this case. Whenever you're buying inventory, cost of sales is opening inventory plus purchases. You're also buying inventory and purchases minus closing inventory. So the cost of delivery that you pay when you get the inventory from the supplier's place to your place, that will be added to the cost of sales because it is related to inventory. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So carriage inward, please write it and write 3 stars in front of it. Carriage inwards will always come in your cost of sales. Carriage outwards will always come in your expenses.
Okay, sir. Sir, I wrote like a different point of it, like it is in the cost of sales and its expense.
Yeah, yeah. So that's absolutely fine. Whatever helps you remember. Okay, so are we good, Zen? Any confusions with any line item? Line item is basically a word that we use for each item that is in the income statement or balance sheet. Okay, so any confusion in any of the line items that you see in front of
No, sir.
you? Okay, very good.
Sir, are the Cambridge pass paper hard or the Excel paper hard?
Cambridge pass papers are harder.
Okay, sir.
Usually, usually.
Okay.
Now, there can be instances when they are very easy and at Excel are hard, but usually Cambridge past papers are hard. And also, Cambridge IGCSE, so there are levels. So, the A level, for example, when we're doing AS level accounting and the student has not studied accounting before, right? So, when we begin, we can also begin with O level past papers because O level, the whole of O level and the A level, AS level, not the A2 level. A2 level is much difficult, but it's almost 90% overlap. The syllabus overlaps around 90% for O
Okay, sir.
levels and for AS levels. So that is also a place where you can find questions to practice. But when it comes to toughness, IGCSE is the easiest. Sorry, Edexcel is the easiest usually. Edexcel Core. Then you have Edexcel Extended, which is almost on par with IGCSE.
Okay, sir.
And then you have O levels, which is a little bit tougher. O levels and AS level at Excel extended would be almost on the same level. Maybe some topics in Excel may be a little bit tougher than O levels, but the Cambridge A level is will be tougher than the Excel A level extended. The
Sir,
questions might be a little bit more complicated. Yeah.
sir, I might have an option to take Cambridge AS level or Edexcel International AS level.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Oh,
So that would highly depend upon you, and I think I have many students from both, and the A level and the Excel level. And to be very honest with you, it doesn't matter as much. All they
oh,
want to see is what, okay, so what your A level grade were, what your AS level grades were, or what
oh,
your, in fact, they don't even care about your AS level grades, to be very honest with you.
oh,
They only care about what was your total grade, right?
okay,
In the whole of your A level. It solely depends upon you. And because what people actually do is if they're giving, I had some students who gave both exams. They gave the Edexcel exam, they also gave the A level exam. And at times they were able to score very good in A level, so they kept that grade. At times they weren't able to do as good in A level, so they also had a good grade in Edexcel, so they didn't have to retake.
in my
So
class, like friends
yeah,
did Excel before me, so they got like one got E, one got B, one got A
in they appeared through Edexcel or Cambridge.
at Excel, Unit 1.
Yeah, so if you translate these grades, then usually the E would become a failure
Yes.
if you give it through Cambridge. The A might still be an A because obviously an A is a very good grade, and obviously if you get an A in Excel, that means you know what you're doing. So you may also be able to score an A or maximum a B maybe
Okay.
in Cambridge. So you can just push the grade down one step
Okay.
when it comes to Cambridge.
Okay.
But again, like I said, this is the usual trends, and because the grades are relative, every year the benchmark might fall or might increase. So you never know what happens.
Okay, sir.
All right. So now Zen will begin with a few. Zen, what I would expect you to do until tomorrow, because we will do the depreciation question tomorrow. If you can find half an hour or 40 minutes extra, I
Okay.
would like you to go through. You did say that you will try to do the question again, did you? The depreciation question. Zen, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So did you try to do the question again, the depreciation question?
Sir,
Your voice is cut off, Zen.
sir, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Sir, I try to get time, but my school work, then I am doing accounting unit 2, then I'm doing business unit 1 and unit 2, so it gets jumbled up.
Okay, okay, okay. That's all right. That's all right. We'll figure it out. Okay. Okay, so what I was saying is I would highly, highly suggest that you read all of the income statement chapter. You can leave depreciation one because we have left three things in your syllabus so far. We have left control accounts, two things, sorry, and we have left the theory chapters. All right.
Okay, sir.
so far. Control accounts, it's hardly two classes. I'm not getting into that because I really want to get this done so that we can get to past papers, and then we can do past papers in one class and one other topic in one class, so that we can pick up the pace on the practice side as well.
Okay,
So
sir.
that's one thing. The other thing that we have left is the theory, which is extremely easy. You will probably learn it by your own self if you do read, but we will spend at least 2 or 3 classes on the complete theory in your AS levels, and that would probably be enough. Uh, so the third thing is depreciation. We can get to depreciation later as well.
Okay, sir.
But the most important thing for now, for today, would be Zen, that you go through this chapter, the income statement. This, I think, is chapter 10 in the book. I think so. Yeah, it is chapter 10. You go through that chapter and you try to do. I'll let you know up until which activity you should be able to do, and do a couple of those activities by tomorrow. They're simple. They're not that. It won't take much of your time.
Sir, I have done the three first two chapters of theory, like the chapter number 1 and chapter 4.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So we'll revise them again. Uh, Once we're done
Okay,
with the
sir.
financial accounting, and probably once we're also done with the cost accounting,
Okay,
then
sir.
we'll get to the theory. Yeah, because like you've read them, right? It is nothing too difficult in that.
Yes, sir.
So
The
yeah,
first
we'll
one
get to
explains there are two types of accounting and why is the use of those accounting and these all stuff.
right. It's very simple. We'll get to that.
And then the second one theory is accruals and these all stuff.
Exactly, accruals, and then there will be accounting principles, and then there will be errors.
Yes.
There are 5 to 7 topics. We'll get to
Yes,
those
sir.
things. No worries. Okay, Zan. So, but you can see my screen, right? Or can you
Yes,
not?
sir.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So, as we discussed, the from revenues. Let me write it properly so that you understand. From revenues up until gross profit. This is called the trading account. From gross profit up until the net profit or the profit for the year. Called the profit for the year. So this step is called the profit or loss account. Okay, so there's a very good example in the book. Okay, so one other thing which, yeah, this, okay, so this needs to be, yeah, I forgot this in over here. We also have one other thing then. Let me see if I can somehow fix it in this turn. Let's just erase this. There's one other line item which we forgot. I'm just trying to fix that in somehow. Purchases, yes. Purchases, returns. Purchases, yes. Purchases, returns. Then you will arrive, or you can just add your carriage inwards after this into this figure, and then the answer that you get, you also have to subtract one other thing which is called inventory drawings. You subtract that from this, and yeah, it's fine otherwise. Okay, so inventory drawings, then if you remember, drawings, owners taking stuff out for personal use, and we studied that drawings can either be in the form of cash or they can also be in the form of inventory or stock. So if you have been given drawings and they're in the form of stock or inventory, you have to subtract those from the cost of sales. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now try to do this example that is in your book, in which they are telling you that okay, so they have given you an extract of your trial balance where you have stuff like revenue, debit side and credit side. Revenue they have given you of 45,000. Then they have given you purchases of 20,000. Then they have given you return inwards of 1,000, return outwards of 3,000. Then you have carriage inwards of 4,500, and you have $8,000 of inventory. And they've also told you the inventory at 1st April 2017. And they've also told you that the rest of the data is for 31st March 2018. And they've also told you a bit of additional information, which is number one, they have told you inventory at 31st March 2018 was 7,000. And they've also told you that inventory drawings were 300. All right, so this is the example that you have. So let's try to solve this.
Sir, which page is this question?
This is on page 102, 102.
Okay, sir.
Okay, perfect. So then whenever we're solving this, if you look at the answer over there as well, they have used a two-column approach. We will also use a two-column approach for this because this is very, very simple. Or let's just use a three-column approach so that this is the most extensive thing that can happen. We'll try to use this for all questions. So firstly, do you have the question in front of you?
Yes, sir. I've opened the book and I've seen the question right now.
Okay, because I am going to solve it, so it's better that you have it in front of you, the question. You don't need to look at the solution because the answer would be the same, but I'm trying to do it using three columns. And the other thing then is always also keep one other thing in your mind is that the inventory given in the trial balance, in the trial balance to you will almost always be the opening inventory. See, all the other figures are of 31st March 2018. It's written in the first statement above the trial balance, but in front of inventory they have written the opening date, 1st April 2017. All right, so that's one. And the next thing is the closing inventory 99.99% of the times will always be given under the trial balance as an additional information. It can be called additional information, it can also be called notes, but it will always be underneath. See, the
Okay,
inventory
sir.
at 31st March is given underneath the trial balance.
Sir, this is the opening inventory.
Oh, the opening inventory is within the trial balance. The closing inventory is outside of the trial balance. See that
Okay.
8,000 figure, the trial balance. That's your opening inventory. The date
Okay,
is
sir.
1 April, yeah, 1st April 2017.
Okay.
All right. So we're starting with, obviously the first item will always be revenue. Revenue is 45,000. And then we have return inwards. The figure for that is 1,000. Subtract these two and we get 44,000. Okay. Then we have to subtract cost of goods sold. In cost of goods sold, the first thing that we write is the opening inventory. The amount is given to us directly, 8,000. We write that in the second column. When we add to that purchases, which are 20,000, but as we also have purchases returns, we will write this in the first column. Then we subtract purchases returns or return outwards. Both of them mean the same thing, which are 3,000. And then we add the carriage that we have, carriage inwards. If we had carriage outwards, we would have just let it go, but this is carriage inwards. It will be added here. And then we total all this up and we get 20,000 minus 3,000, 17,000. It will be 21,500. And then we'll subtract. Remember that second point in the additional information? They told us that inventory drawings were 300 pounds,
Yes,
or
sir.
they've written it, Karen had taken out 300 of goods for her own use, right? So we'll write here inventory drawings. We'll subtract the 300. The answer would be 21,200. After which, sorry, this answer would go here, 21,200. In the second column, after which we will subtract the closing inventory, which is 7,000, and we will arrive at the total cost of sales figure, which is 22,200. When subtracted from the return inward, from the total net sales, and we will arrive at 21,800, and this will be your gross profit. Clear, then? Any confusions here?
No, sir. Sir, can I write plus and minus sign rather than writing less or plus in words?
Yeah, that is more preferable, in fact. And also, you can write add instead of plus. It will
Okay,
save you
sir.
time. Add
So
in
I can
this.
use the signs or
Yeah,
like,
uh, but yeah, I would highly suggest don't use the signs. Write add or less.
okay, sir.
Yeah, always write add or less. And also one other thing, then this figure, no, sales minus sales return, you can also label it as net sales.
Okay,
All right,
sir.
it's a good practice to do these things. Like it is a
Okay.
good practice to write add or less instead of plus and minus. Okay, then so there are these small activities. Activity number 1, activity number 2. Then we have. Just give me 1 second. She presents you. She wants you to prepare a trading account for this and that. Yeah, activity number 3. Activity number 4. And I'll try to do the activity number 5 here. I would expect you. Okay, good. So then we'll do one other activity number 5 in this class. So activity number 1 to activity number 4, these 4 activities are for trading account, like the one that we're doing right now. Okay. So there may be some items missing, there may be some extra items. You need to figure out which ones to put, which ones to leave.
Okay,
So
sir.
do like 1 or 2 activities from 1 to 4. Ideally, you should do all the activities, but you can try practicing them within the week, right? When you will have
Okay,
more
sir.
time. For activity number 5, it is a full-fledged question. I'm doing it right now. In
Okay,
activity
sir.
number 6, I would highly suggest, if you don't get much time till tomorrow, but you can only do one activity, do activity number 6. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if you can go to the activity number 6 right now, and it is on
Sir,
page
I'm
number
right.
10. Okay, you're there. So in this activity, I expect you to create a full income statement like the one we will create right now in activity number 5.
Okay,
Uh,
sir.
but in this trial balance that you have been given, you will see there are so many accounts which are not in the income statement account format that we studied. That is because those are balance sheet accounts. Okay. So whenever you see a balance sheet account, you don't touch that account. You only touch the accounts which are income statement accounts, which are in our format. The format
Okay,
that
sir.
I gave you is quite extensive. We may have missed a few expenses, but obviously, if they're expenses, they will come in the income statement. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so good. So activity number 6, I would highly suggest, and if you get the
Okay.
time, do activity number 1 to 4 as well.
Okay, sir.
Try to do activity number 5 in the time that we have left.
Sir, I'll try to give you at 36 till today or tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but you can just do them, and we can discuss those things in class. You
Okay,
don't
sir.
have to send them over via WhatsApp.
Okay.
All right. So here is activity number 5. Okay. Zen, can you please open it in front of you, the activity, so that I don't actually have to write the whole question.
Sir, I have the
If you have.
question beside me, like I split screen.
Okay, okay, good. So again, well, even though we don't actually need a 3 column here because we've already been given the gross profit when we have to make the profit and loss account, but we'll still make 3 columns. One of them will be empty anyway. Okay. So this time then they have already given us the gross profit and they want us to create the profit and loss account. Okay. So the gross profit that they have given us is 56,900. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
You see at the top they have written that Ella has prepared a trading account showing a gross profit of this, and then they have given us a few things, and then they've told us to prepare a statement of profit or loss, or OCI other of comprehensive income for Alice. As she is not sure what has to be shown in the account, the above is an extract of balances she thinks are relevant. Okay. So let's look at one of these items individually first, and then we'll start with the question. So motor expenses. What are motor expenses? And that would be an expense or an income?
Sir, expense.
Expense. Finance income, as the name suggests, It is an
Yes.
income. Bank charges
Expense.
is an expense, wages,
Expense.
rent payable.
Expense.
Okay. And then you have discount received,
Income.
insurance,
Expense.
and postage.
Expense.
Exactly. Also, if the name is not clear, you can just look at their balances. All the incomes will be on the credit side, all the expenses will be on the debit side. So,
Okay, sir.
good. Okay, so what do we do after gross profit, Zen?
Other incomes.
Absolutely. So we will
Then write the incomes. Then we write the expenses.
absolutely. So just help me solve this. So other incomes. What should I write now underneath other incomes?
Sir, finance income.
Okay, good. Finance income. Zen, if I ask you, do you know what finance income is?
Sir, like the interest we get from putting the money in the
Yes,
bank.
yes, yes, absolutely. Whenever you see the words finance income or finance cost, you should know that even though you won't be asked, but as an accountant, as a finance guy, you should know that finance income is basically your interest income.
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. So finance income, what is the amount?
980.
2980. Right. We will write that here. Okay, what else? Is there anything else that should come
Discount.
here?
Discount received.
Absolutely. Amount is
1040.
one. So this would be 3020 and 4020. Where where should I write the balance of this?
Sir, in the
The
third
when
row.
we in
Like
the third.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely right. Income 4020 and the total would be 60920. Okay, good. Now what?
Sir, we write expenses.
Then we less expenses. Very good. Okay, what should I write?
Sir, motor expense.
Which column?
First first column.
First, no. For expenses, we can actually write them in the second column. So the
Okay.
third column will mostly only be used up until the gross profit.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you will write the amount in the second column, 3140. Okay, what else?
Um,
Then sorry, your voice is cut off. What else? Hello.
sir, bank charges.
Yes, bank charges. Absolutely. Bank charges are 720
Sir, wages.
and wages are 1360. Then
Sir, and payable.
rent payable is 5870. Then
Insurance 3800.
insurance 3800 and then
Postage 1010.
10. Okay, can you please total these up then? Do
Okay,
you have
sir.
a calculator with you?
Sir, no.
Okay, so wait, let me just do it. So you should keep a calculator Zan with you always
Sir,
in an accounting.
it went outside the calculator. I cannot find the battery now.
Oh, okay, that's okay. 17, 14. Okay, so this will be the total is 15,900. Where should I write the total?
Sir, third row, but with a bracket.
Yes, 15,900. Absolutely. And if we subtract it from the above amount, we will get 5,020. This will be our
Profit of the year.
absolute. Always write for, don't write off.
Okay, sir.
Profit for the year. This is pretty much it, Zen. The
Okay,
only
sir.
things in the next chapter when we get to which we will start next week, there will be adjustments
Okay.
to, and you will have to make those adjustments to these amounts only. No, you will have to write like 31, 40 plus minus something. We'll get to
Okay,
that
sir.
later. But essentially, what you need to understand is the format. What
Okay, sir.
thing goes where?
Okay, sir.
Okay. And then one other thing. Uh, if you get the time, I don't think you will get the time, by the way. But if you get the time now, it will take you 10 minutes. Try to see what is happening in the example, which is right next to activity number 6. If you go on page number 106, you will see a worked example, and then it changes to profit for the year,
Yes, sir. I got it.
right?
Yes.
Try to see what is happening here. This is solved, right?
Yes, sir.
The solution is underneath. Yeah. So yeah, try to see what is happening here and how they are adjusting their profit. Because what
Okay, sir.
what is basically happening here is that they've given you the profit was 29,000 for the year, but when we looked at a few things, we found out that the opening inventory was undervalued by 858. I mean, if it was 10,000, for example, so it should have been 10,858, right? So this is what they're
Yes.
telling you, and then they have solved this to arrive at the adjusted profit. I usually touch upon this once we have completed the adjustments for income statement and balance sheet, but I would highly appreciate it if you go through this and try to understand, and it would be great if you
Okay,
can
sir.
actually understand what's
Okay,
happening
sir.
here.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Okay, great, Zan. So any questions, any confusions on whatever we studied today?
Sir, more where if depreciation is there, they will write the depreciation, or we have to also find the depreciation in the question.
Sorry, I could not understand exactly what you're saying.
There is depreciation is an expense.
Yes, yes.
So will we have to find the depreciation with our method, or they will give us depreciation?
No, see, they have directly in activity number 6, they have directly given you the depreciation expense underneath the trial balance.
Okay, sir.
Depreciation for the year is 4,200 and 1,600. One is for machinery, one is for vehicles. Always remember that provision for depreciation, allowance for depreciation, or accumulated depreciation, all of these three mean the one and the same thing. The
Okay, sir.
this is that is a balance sheet account. Provision, accumulated allowance, always go into the balance sheet. They don't even touch your income statement. Income statement will be affected by the depreciation for the year, depreciation expenses for the year. All right, so those we
Okay,
will
sir.
record. And the other thing about calculating depreciation, if we will get a full-fledged question in the exam. We will do so many of those questions later on as well. Over there, at times you may be asked to calculate the depreciation, but they will tell you every single thing. They will tell you use this method, use this percentage, they will give you the scrap value, and then you will have to calculate this. And for example, if the question is for 30 marks, almost 5 or 4 marks will be just for the calculation of the depreciation in the whole of income statement. All
Okay,
right,
sir.
so they do give you marks there. It does take a lot of time to calculate all that, which is why they do give you enough marks for that as well. But over here right now, you are directly given everything which you need.
Okay, sir.
So any other questions, and can we
No,
wrap up?
sir.
Okay, great, then just try to do all the things which I told you. Do as much as you can, but try to get through activity number 6 first. So that, and if you still find the time, look at that example and try activity number 1 to 4.
Okay, sir.
Okay, great, Zan. See you tomorrow. And
Okay, sir.
again, Zan, same time class. All right.
Okay, sir.
Great.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Okay, Zan. Walaikum salam.